Okay, I want to give you a little general introduction to GeoGebra. GeoGebra is a dynamic graphics software that uses math in interesting ways. Okay, so let's just jump into it. All of these icons up here each have a drop down. If you click on the arrow, there's many more things that are available in each one. Some key things in the file menu might be, new window. You can export them to a HTML dynamic worksheet on GeoGebra Tube. So if you make something that you want to share with other people, that's a good way to do it. Of course, open, save, all those are typical. Under edit, object properties is something that you use quite a bit to change colors of things and change what values are shown, and if it's going to be a label or a numerical value, that kind of thing. So object properties is a key one. And then all the other edits, of course, you can do with shortcut keys like Control Z to undo. View. So this is kind of something that's important, that you have these different views. Typically you start with the algebra view and the graphics view open, but a spreadsheet view is also another one that I like to have open as well. And then there's also the CAS, which is an algebra solve system. So if you put something like this, solve x plus 6 equals 9, it will just spit out an answer. So you can even do more complicated things like x squared plus, I don't know, 2x plus 3 equals 0. And, oh, I guess that was probably no real solution. So let me change that to minus. Yeah, so x is equal to negative 3 or 1. So it can do a lot of cool things like that. I think it probably can do systems of equations and things like that. Alright, so other views, you could have two graphics views going at the same time. I don't really use these other two, but maybe somebody can learn how to use them and show me how to use it. Keyboard probably is just an on-screen keyboard. Options. So these are just pretty self-explanatory, just kind of settings for doing things, rounding, snapping, and that kind of stuff. Tools, you can customize the toolbar. Sometimes people like to only show what is available, like compass and straight edge, so you can only use the compass and only use lines and things like that. But I just typically leave the toolbar as it is, and window and help. Okay, let's do some things. So how about the most important thing, I think, for people to understand when they first start using GeoGebra is the slider. So slider allows you to enter some variable that can be slid back and forth between a minimum and a maximum at some increment. So I'll just change this to an increment of 1, and maybe we'll change this to negative 10 to 10 just to make things different. And now you have to go back to the move tool to be able to slide it. So what that does is it relates to the algebra. So if I said x equals a, it puts a vertical line through x equals negative 2 at this point. But as I change a, it changes the value. Okay? And I can even go over here and, well, let's do something else. Let's do, how about, put another slider, and we'll call it B. Well, we already have B as our line, so C. And now I'll do another input bar. How about y equals a times x plus c, and it makes a line. And as I change this, it changes the y-intercept, and this changes the slope. And you can see it does both of them at the same time. But let me just delete this one. Right click does a lot of help. And it does that. Now, instead of y, let me change this to, so if I double click, change this to f of x instead. Or how about d of x, since I'm already using d. So now it's a function instead of just a line. And over here I can make a list of numbers, so like 1, 2, 3. And here I can use my typical spreadsheet things like equals d of x. Instead of x, I'll use that number. So in cell A1, I just clicked on it, and I can copy that down. Now, the nice thing about the spreadsheet view is you can make a list of points from this. You just highlight them and right-click, say Create List of Points, and it will put those points 1, negative, 3.5, and so on the graph. Now, before I showed you object properties, so if I right-click on all the points, I can change, instead of the name, I can have it show the value, and you see that show up there. Alright, so that's some use in algebra. Let's get rid of this, and let's do just a geometry problem. So I go View, Graphics. Actually, let's just delete everything. Delete, delete, delete. And I can get rid of the axes, just right click on it. And now it's just a blank screen, so I could do maybe a polygon. So click a point, and then to close it, I finish out. And I don't know, let's do something like a perpendicular bisector of A, and perpendicular bisector of B, and perpendicular bisector of C. So that gives us, I forget the name for it, but circumcenter or something like that. And then I can click the intersection point, click on one line and the other, and it gives us a nice point there. Now it's dynamic, so as I change, you see that, well, those three lines always intersect. So actually I could try it. Does this do a circle? Oops. Start circle and let's see, center and radius. No. Circle was centered through point. Yeah, that's what, so, and you see that, oh, the circle always happens to be on the 3 points of the triangle. So that's interesting. So you can make discoveries that way and play around with the geometry too. So other things are doing transformations, reflecting about a line, rotating, so forth. Here's labeling things, so you could find the distance or length. Creating lists could be helpful, especially when you want to find a bisfit line. You can label angles. You can give an angle of a given size, so that maybe you need to throw a point out there. Ellipses given 3 points, the foci at some point on the ellipse. Making different types of circles. The icons are very helpful in telling you what they do. Regular polygons. One thing you can do with regular polygons that seems to come up a bit is if you do some integer values. So let's do something like that. Regular polygon, and so I put the one base length, and the vertices I'm going to make a variable. How about h? Okay, and right now it's at 1, but so if I went to 5 vertices, it makes pentagon, and so on. So that's something you can play with. All different ways to find lines and find tangents and so forth. Locus of points is a neat one because you can put something as a driver, like your slider bar, and say like, what's all the locus of points that that this bar would go through and stuff like that. So this is a cool one for more advanced mathematics. And that's about it for now for an introduction.